I have tried 2D animation before, and honestly, I was shocked by the amount of work it required. Having to redraw every single frame, that is actually insane to me. How are people doing this in any reasonable amount of time? So therefore, 3D animation has always been unimaginable to me, because if 2D animations take such a long time, imagine doing that, but in 3D. It must be so much harder, right? Well, let's find out. In this video, I dive headfirst into the world of 3D animation, and it was nothing like I imagined. I actually managed to create an animated 3D character that you can drop into a game. Isn't that amazing? I didn't really know where to start, but I had decided on making a crab. Yes, a crab. Because yesterday a thought popped into my head. What if you made a fighting game, but where you're a crab, so you can only walk sideways? Don't ask, okay, my brain's weird. My first mission was to model the crab, so I have something to work from. I didn't know how detailed I wanted to make the crab. Should I go for a cartoonish style or more realistic? But then I realized I don't really know what a crab looks like. Man, crabs are weird. Look at this guy. Yeah, okay, just a flat circle, claws, spider legs, that's about it. I'm using Blender for this whole video because I have heard that you can use it for 3D animations. I have previously tried making some 3D models in Blender, you know, stuff like game assets, stuff to 3D print and so on, but I've never tried animating something. I still don't really know how it would work, because I can't imagine you have to remodel the whole thing for each frame, right? Right? I guess it's something more like you move the mesh, take a snapshot of it, and then moving your mesh again, taking a snapshot and so on, kind of like stop motion film, then add all those pictures together so it looks like it's moving. Now the crab is starting to look finished, it's time to figure out how to make him move. I went on YouTube and searched for tutorials, and sadly there were no crab animation tutorials. Who would have thought? So I watched this one from Devlog Logan. Go check it out if you want a more in-depth walkthrough on animating 3D characters. The next step is to give the crab a skeleton. The skeleton can only move in specific ways, like a real skeleton. It will then be connected to the actual 3D model so that the skeleton and the crab moves together. With this setup, I can now give the crab different poses, and then add them together similar to the stop motion workflow. But with a huge difference that makes this process so much easier. You only need to add the key poses, you know, the start and finish poses. For example, if I want the crab to lift his arm, I only need to make the pose where he has his arm down and then one when he has his arm up. And then, with some Blender behind the scene magic, you just click play and the crab lifts his arm. So you don't need to manually do all the poses in between those two frames. This simplifies the process a ton and makes it a lot more fun. First I made an idle animation, where he just stands and takes really deep breaths, because you know, he's about to get into a fight. And then I made a walking animation. Yeah, a bit wonky, but it works. Finally, I made a punching animation, which actually turned out pretty good, I think. It has a bit of a wind up and then he leans his whole body into the punch. So now the crab is just walking around, punching the air, so now he needs something to fight against. But what would a crab be fighting? Crab enemies. Whoa, whoa, the crabs are freaking high up in the food chain, fighting sharks, seals, crocodiles, and birds? Well, sharks and crocodiles, I totally get it, I would also avoid them. But birds, sure they're a bit annoying, but oh my god. Alright, I guess I'm making a seagull. Did you know crabs don't have teeth? Instead they grind their foods in their stomach. It's called a gastric mill. Yeah, let that sink in. Their stomachs does their chewing. Moving on. Seagulls don't have teeth either. Instead they swallow rocks to grind their food in their stomachs. What the... Man, ew. Enough with these weird facts. Look, the seagull is finished. Time to give it some life. Yeah... Alright, I think that's gonna wrap it up for today. Honestly, I'm kind of amazed of how quickly you could get your characters moving. Sure, these animations aren't exactly Pixar level, but that's not the point. The point is how easy it was to get started. I hope you enjoyed watching me try 3D animation. If you've got any tips or experiences of your own, make sure to leave a comment. I need all the help I can get. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.